Whilst praise in WWE often goes to the performers and bookers, and quite rightly so, let's take a moment to thank the humble, sometimes forgotten production crew. Great camera work, pyro, lighting, and so on are key components to the show and are invaluable tools when it comes to presenting a wrestler as a superstar. On the flip side though, bad production can completely ruin some of WWE's best moments. Just imagine how good these ones could have been had someone in the production truck not completely fudged it. Bad special effects, dodgy filming, cringy scripting, it's all here, folks, and it's about to make you very sad. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are 10 times bad production ruined great WWE moments. Join us. Number 10. Rooftop Crash Pads. When discussing unique shows in wrestling history, you simply must include Money in the Bank 2020. Taking place during the pandemic, the show's titular contest saw its participants scaling WWE headquarters instead of a traditional ladder. The concept wasn't executed perfectly and had one too many doink in a dress shirt cameos for my liking, but it was a pretty neat idea on the whole. During the closing stages of the match, which took place on the roof of the building, 2 of the male participants supposedly fell to their deaths. Well, they were actually pushed, but that sounded far too incriminating. Baron Corbin lobbed both Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black off the building to the ground below. Except we know that he didn't, because aerial shots of the roof from earlier in the night showed a nice comfy crash pad just underneath where the 2 men would be flung. It's not something you would necessarily notice if you weren't looking for it, but for eagle-eyed viewers, this dramatic moment was a little bit spoiled. I mean, at least we now know how the Giant survived when Hulk Hogan pushed him off the roof of Cobo Hall. Number 9. Drew's Sing-Along. Held in Cardiff, Wales, 2022's Clash at the Castle was propped up by 2 big matches involving hometown stars. You had Sheamus versus Gunther and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns. Okay, so neither Drew nor Sheamus are from Wales, and Sheamus isn't even from the United Kingdom, but the point is they tried, and that's all we ask for these days. After McIntyre failed to defeat Reigns for the undisputed Universal Championship, he was joined in the ring by boxer Tyson Fury. McIntyre and Fury had been building a feud for months using social media, so perhaps this would be the moment where WWE kickstarted the rivalry on TV. Well, nope, they did a bit of karaoke instead. Fury serenaded the crowd with Don McLean's American Pie before Drew finished the night off with a spectacular version of the Oasis classic, Don't Look Back in Anger. The whole spectacle was utterly bizarre, especially coming off the back of such an emotionally exhausting match. McIntyre himself confirmed that not all of the singing was supposed to have aired on the network. Whilst even a tiny bit of crooning would have been enough to bewilder fans watching at home, the fact that we got several minutes of it really diminished the show's ending. Number 8. The Undertaker's Lightning. In one of the strangest scheduling decisions they've ever made, WWE decided to put on Rey Mysterio winning the 2006 Royal Rumble before Kurt Angle defended the World Heavyweight Championship against Mark Henry. Thankfully, they weren't mad enough to actually give Henry the belt at this point, as Angle beat him in under 10 minutes. And then came the moment that everyone remembers about this match, the return of The Undertaker. The dead man, who hadn't been seen in over a whole month, rode into the arena on a frickin' horse-drawn chariot. That's so cool. He then shot fake lightning out of his hands and collapsed the ring. That's not so cool. Honestly, the CGI bolts look cheesy as anything. Whilst The Undertaker has used spooky superpowers before, and to great effect, this tipped over into the realm of silly. Also, surely the fans in the arena couldn't actually see the lightning, so what the hell did they think was going on? I mean, unless Mark Calloway really can shoot electricity from his fingers. If that's the case, I take back everything bad I've ever said about him. Great job in that Goldberg match, Mr. Calloway. Please don't electrocute me. Number 7. The Rock's promo notes. Few things are quite as captivating in wrestling as when Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gets his teeth stuck into a promo. The Rock is the master of the microphone, one of, if not the best talkers the business has ever known. His monologues are as iconic and entertaining as any of his matches, elevating and ruining careers in equal measure. Yeah, we're talking about you, Billy Gunn. How disappointing then to find out Rocky sometimes writes notes on his wrist to help him along. I'm holding back the tears here. here. WWE cameras most notably caught a glimpse of DJ's cues during his feud with John Cena in the run-up to WrestleMania 28. This even led to Cena calling out the Great One for said infraction on the February 27th, 2012 edition of Monday Night Raw. He's still an absolute demon on the mic, but knowing that Rock's quick-witted tirades are plotted out in advance did ruin the magic for some fans. Yes, the Brahma Bull could have done more to cover up his bullet points or memorized his notes instead, but maybe WWE should have realized that they were there and, I don't know, not filmed them? If you smell what the... What's the line again? Number 6, Triple H's Mania entrance. Whether it's a gold throne, an army of faceless minions, or a giant tricycle, Triple H sure knows how to put together a memorable WrestleMania entrance, albeit sometimes for all the wrong reasons. Case in point, his walkout to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 29. The King of Kings' big entrance that year involved him strutting out of a huge skull-shaped archway through a cloud of smoke. The smoke effect was created using dry ice, some of which accidentally got fired directly onto Hunter's tummy. On the surface, this ruins the cool entrance because it looked like Triple H had been playing in the snow before making his way to the ring. However, upon closer reading, this malfunction had far more serious ramifications. The dry ice actually gave the cerebral assassin second-degree burns on his torso, which is not something that sounds particularly fun. I mean, especially considering that he went on to wrestle Brock goddamn Lesnar for nearly 25 minutes. Watching the moment back knowing this makes for quite the uncomfortable viewing experience. I know I probably shouldn't complain about feeling uncomfortable when a man had his skin frozen off, but you get the picture. Should have got Undertaker's Pyro Man to warm him up again. Number 5, For the Love of Mankind. The Undertaker and Shane McMahon's WrestleMania 32 match is largely bad. An old man and a middle-aged man stomp about inside a big metal box for about half an hour. I mean, it certainly doesn't sound great on paper, does it? The match is mostly remembered for the utterly insane bump Shane O'Mac took off the top of the cell, trying and failing to hit the dead man with his trademark elbow drop. Well, actually, that's not what most fans remember. Michael Cole's cringe-inducing line immediately afterwards is what fans remember. Almost as soon as young Simba hit the floor with the force of a neutron bomb, Cole yells out, "For the love of mankind!" with all the sincerity of a used car salesman. An obvious nod to Mick Foley's similarly spectacular fall, the line was so blatantly manufactured that it took everyone watching out of the moment. To make matters worse, the camera clearly caught Cole reading the line off a clipboard as he was saying it. The irony of the whole situation is that Cole's reference to Foley only served to remind viewers of JR's legendary call at King of the Ring 98. A much better moment, honestly, and no clipboard required. Number 4, Sin Cara's trampoline. One of the few things the original Sin Cara ever had going for him was his first entrance. The Mexican star, formerly known as Mystico, would run down to the ring and appear to leap several feet into the air before flipping over the top rope in one fluid motion. Well, except for all the times he clipped his feet on the rope and landed with all the grace of a one-legged turkey, that is. But even this eventually fizzled out for the luchador, as WWE cameras accidentally pulled back the curtain on this amazing stunt. During his early entrances, a trampoline was clearly visible right where Sin Cara would take flight. To all the younger fans watching, this completely killed the myth that he was some incredibly gifted high flyer and made him look more like a budget circus performer. WWE knew the jig was up and quickly changed the Faceless One's routine. The trampoline was removed and Sin Cara would just slide under the bottom rope instead, before doing a much less impressive roll off the middle rope. What a letdown. It's like your mum promising you chicken dippers for tea and then swapping them out for Brussels sprouts at the last minute. I'll never forgive you, Linda. Number 3, Edge's Rumble return. During the 2020 Men's Royal Rumble match, the unmistakable sound of Alter Bridge's Metalingus filled Houston's Minute Maid Park as the rated R superstar Edge made his long-awaited return. The Hall of Famer had been on the shelf since a 2011 neck injury forced him to retire, and now he was back and he was ready to kick some bums. At least we think that's what he wanted. We didn't actually see it. As soon as Edge got into the ring, he hit a spear on Dolph Ziggler right as Kevin Dunn decided that it would be a great idea to cut away to the crowd. Edge's first spear in a match in almost a decade, and he missed it. Come on, Kevin, mate. How long you been doing this now? WWE have shamelessly tried to cover this botch up. In a clip posted to YouTube, the footage skips ahead, implying that Edge's first spear back was to Carl Anderson instead of the show-off. And then, when they uploaded the Rumble in full to YouTube, they used an alternate angle and pasted the commentary of the Anderson spear over the Dolph one. Nice try, WWE, but we remember. We will always remember what you did on this day. Number 2, AJ's Rumble debut. AJ Styles was easily one of the biggest names in wrestling never to work for WWE. And before you say anything, those matches on Jacked and Metal don't count, shut up. That all changed when Styles appeared at number 3 in the 2016 Royal Rumble match to a huge ovation. It would have been nice to see said ovation, or to see AJ actually walk out on stage, or at the very least his Titantron, but instead all fans got to see was Roman Reigns pulling his best "what?" face. Once the buzzer sounded and this strange new music started to play, the camera hung on the big dog's big dog face for about 10 seconds before cutting back to Styles already halfway out onto the stage. This was AJ's big moment, his arrival in WWE after so many years of fans hoping and dreaming that he would show up. And WWE decided that the focus should probably be on Roman Reigns. Typical. What's even more annoying is that they released an alternative cut on the debut, which is way better. You actually see the Titantron flash up the word phenomenal right before the crowd goes wild. I mean, it just makes so much more sense than what we actually got. Again, typical. Number 1, Jag thinned. In one of the best feel-good moments in wrestling history, Daniel Bryan overcame all 3 members of Evolution in one night to become WWE Champion and secure his place at the top of the sports entertainment mountain. It was a moment for the ages, and one that will forever be associated with the words, Jag thinned. Hang on a second. As Bryan got down on his knees to throw the belts up in the air with his trademark yes taunt, someone in the crowd held up a sign with Jag thinned written on it, completely obscuring what would have been a perfect shot. As it turns out, the sign could be spotted at several other WWE events before this one, but this is where it gained infamy. Whilst the fault for this hilarious moment mostly lies with whoever held up the sign, the WWE camera crew shouldn't have been in a position to be blocked by a lone placard. As it turns out, none of this really mattered, as wrestling fans continue to celebrate both the title win and the ridiculous sign in equal measure. Still, bloody funny stuff. A Jag thin to all, and to all a good night.